Get ready for an unforgettable experience at the Wolf Media Festival. Join us at the Hilton Event Center, April 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2025, for a weekend filled with exciting films, creative workshops, inspiring panels, and interactive events. From film screenings to photography exhibits, podcast showcases to TikTok battles, there's something for everyone. Get your tickets now at www.wolfmediafest.com.
It's the Wolf Media Festival podcast. Today's guests. From the film Abduction Chronicles, Stephanie Cerves and Jalixa Morales. And now, here's your hosts, Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart.
Did you know that there are over 4 million active podcasts right now?
What? 4 million?
4 million.
How did you get that number?
Google.
I kind of want to know what they all are. More information.
Okay. I'm going to list 4 million podcasts right now. Ready? How long is this? I thought that number would be higher.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like everybody has a podcast. But I would also be curious how many there were during the pandemic, like the height of the pandemic, because I feel like everybody I knew had a podcast. I know a bunch of comedians and everybody had a podcast until they all talked to each other and then they stopped doing their podcasts because they had no one else to talk to. But now it's 4 million and one with us, I guess.
Like 4 million ever?
Active podcasts.
Active. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I wonder what active is. Like, because there's those ones where I can't think of the word, but it's just like the story and then it ends. And,
oh, yeah.
But it's still available. I can go listen even though it's like 4 years old.
Right. You're talking about like limited episodes, like ones with like a finite number. Those are still considered active though, aren't they? I mean, wouldn't that be the case?
That's a great question. I feel like active means putting out new episodes.
Yeah, it seems that way. Seems like that's.
Listen, when I Googled it, it was because I was it was getting ready to go to a meeting with someone that I wanted to do a podcast with, like help them with a podcast. So I was like, I wonder how many are out there. So I just Googled, oh, this is a dog. That's Hershey.
Oh my God, he's so cute. I just got so excited.
I know, me too.
This is not my dog. I'm dog sitting.
Okay, well, still a dog.
He's the sweetest thing in the entire world.
Hi, baby.
Do you want to say hi?
Yes. Oh my goodness, look at that face. Oh,
not that this is our walking time usually to go for our evening walk when we're recording this. But I think he's also hungry. Sorry, Hershey. I know. Hershey, like the chocolate bar. Not a sponsor of this podcast, but they could be.
Could be.
He and my Great Pyrenees are having the best. We've had them for like a week, and they are having the best time together.
Sleepover.
Yeah, throwing each other around my house.
That's great. I keep picking up this lip gloss and wanting to show it to you guys. Look, it's a mushroom. It is so cute.
That is so cute. Does it have a flavor or like a scent?
It's like a little bit of a strawberry situation. Somebody gave it to me because I have a mushroom thing. I have all these different mushroom things. And so anyway,
Are you a fairy too? My husband says I'm a fairy and I told him, I think you're a fairy.
Yes.
Yes, I knew it.
Okay.
So Richard, you said you were at a meeting. Is that for your show or do you have like a whole staff you have to manage?
Not my own show because it's a staff of one. So, I mean, I guess then I'm always in a meeting, I suppose, because I'm always chatting with myself. No, but I produce and edit podcasts for people. So in meetings about their stuff. Yeah. And I was trying to get someone to hire me. And so I thought, oh, I wonder how many are out there. Because, some like, and they're about such random stuff, some of them. And some people have very random jobs or lives and don't think they should have a podcast. So I was doing a little research.
Funny about what you said 4 million. And my face was like, and the reason it was that way is because earlier today, I kid you not, I picked up my phone and I was trying to find out, I was doing some research about podcasts and trying to see about like rankings and things like that, because even though I have mine, I don't really pay attention to that very much. And it was saying, I don't remember the name of the the site, it doesn't really matter, but it was meant to show like what percentage you're in. And so it was saying 10% of 3,800,000 and something thousand. And so that number, I looked at my husband today and I go, did you realize there's more than 3.8 million podcasts out there? And then you come on, you're like, did you know there's 4 million podcasts?
So I wonder what the real number is. Maybe we're both being lied to.
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah.
podcasts.
But there's only one of us.
Yeah,
But there's only one of these. So
this is true.
When I was young, I remember my parents listening to the most boring talk radio, more so my dad than my mom. My mom at least had like good music going on. But boring talk radio while they're driving, and it was so boring. And now here I am, an adult, a mom, a mom to adults even, and I find myself listening to podcasts like all the time. Like nothing in my life goes without podcasts. Do you guys do that too? Is this
the
the
best
new
way,
version
yes.
of talk radio? Is it better? Is it less boring than talk radio?
Absolutely.
What do you guys listen to it all
Yeah.
the time too, or is that just a me thing?
Yeah, everything. Painting. I'm working on a children's book illustration right now. And I'm literally, this is hysterical. I'm sitting here for hours at a time drawing cute little characters listening to true crime podcasts. So it's perfect.
Yeah, sometimes I need to fall asleep listening to my true crime podcast.
Your face.
I'm not
What's
that
happening?
way. Like, I'm not. I listened to, so when I worked in like the nonprofit world for a long time, and I would listen to like nonprofit leadership podcasts while I was in the shower. Very entertaining. And but otherwise I listened to like 2, 3. I listened to 3 podcasts on rotation, and that's it. And of course
Wow.
this,
That's
so 4.
That's fair.
Well, and the ones that I suppose I edit, but that's different. That is different to me because I'm listening with a different ear when you're like editing, than you're not like.
Absolutely.
So no, my world revolves around music that I listened to
Mhm.
in college. I still listen to the same
Right
stuff.
on.
That's what I do.
I mean, music's really important for all of us, I'm sure. Tell me what's going on with you, Richard. What do you have going on right now? What projects are you working on? What's live?
I just started a new podcast with a group of people, which is really exciting. Not you guys. Jacquelynn's getting all excited.
No, you're talking about the one with the woman with the mess, right?
Yeah, it's called the Autoimmune Campfire. And so we started recording that this week, actually. So that's been fun to create something new. Like, it's fun. The entire process to me is always fun. Like, figuring out what the intro looks like, figuring out what, all of that looks like. And then when you start doing them and realize, some are better than others. And then like watching the hosts, especially when they're not regular hosts, figure out like their rhythm and stuff it's always fun for me to just watch people get excited.
That's
about
cool.
The Autoimmune Campfire, is it interviews or do they have guests on, or what is that going to be like?
Their first season is going to be them, the 2 of them, Helen and Nona, talking about their journey and their advice and what they've learned. And then their second season, which I'm excited that they're already planning that, is going to be guests. So
Ooh,
it'll be good.
I'm excited
Coming out
about that. I
September.
would love to hear their stories. I have a household full of different types of autoimmune issues, and so many. I have multiple sclerosis. My husband has ulcerative colitis, and my 16-year-old has Addison's disease.
Mm.
Lots of crazy stuff. But my MS story is very like the very common, what you hear a lot of people say. So I'm really curious how much hers and mine line up with each other.
Well, you'll have to listen to find out.
When does it come out? When does that one start?
September is our goal. September.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think this episode comes out like the first week in September too. So I wonder how much I'll edit this while I'm listening to that. But speaking of editing, that's like a lot of work on your part. Don't you feel like that's a lot of work?
This is it. He's happy.
No, it's so fun. This is what I wanted to do my entire life. All of this. So every day is a dream. Sometimes it's a nightmare, but it's a dream of some sort.
What'd you
Wow, that's just so much between all your shows and everything. I just think about how long it takes me to edit some of these episodes, and it consumes my life. It's so much work for you, Richard.
It's a lot. It's a lot. My husband is my editor,
Mhm.
thank God.
Mhm.
He's my sound mixer and my editor, and if I had to do all that myself, I would be underwater all the time. So much respect to you.
I'm hoping, and Jacquelynn, this might be something for this podcast. Looking into like local colleges for interns and getting some like,
Yeah.
help. And because I would have loved it as when I was in college,
Yeah.
someone to come up and be like, you want to help me on my show? I'd be like, oh my God, yes, please. So
Yes, actually, that's something I
Mm.
do plan on doing, but I do like to pay everybody. So interns are not.
Mhm.
So I like to maybe get us
Yeah.
yeah.
some profits going before I hire on
Yeah. Very
any
Yeah.
more staff. I think if we're ever hiring, I'll post in the links below.
Yeah.
Kyle, though, what have you been up to? You said you're working on a book. What else have you been up
What's
to?
coming up? Well, I just came off the tail end of a women's retreat that I facilitated in Santa Fe, which was amazing, and that it lit me up so much that I just blurted out yesterday. There's another one coming in the fall, so I'm going to be booking that and starting to prepare that, which is super exciting. And I'm midway through illustrating my third children's book, which is super fun. And so I'm spending a lot of time behind the iPad, doing all that kind of stuff. And then my own podcast is every week, so that's a big chunk of my time right now. And then I have some different design projects for clients, different types of those things, and a couple of sound baths planned and some Reiki sessions coming up. So a lot of different things happening this week over here.
Dang, you're so busy.
Do you ever do virtual sound baths?
We have done, yeah. We can do. Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Love sound
I do
baths. Yeah.
distance Reiki and distance sound healing because it's energy, and energy doesn't really know, time and space. So you can do them from anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun. Yeah, and taking care of my dog. I have a little doggy that's been really sick, and I was going to share this because it's just been the weirdest week around here in my house because my husband was gone for 3.5 weeks. I did the retreat. My dog got sick with a spinal issue where we had to keep him on like bed rest, and he can't move. And then our water, we live in our what is it, community, like a community well, like shared well and shared water, got a marker for E. coli. And so I've been boiling
Mm.
water for the last week and tending to a sick dog and doing all the things I was mentioning. So it's just been a little bit of a circus. So I'm hoping all of that is cleared now that we got the no boil notice about 20 minutes before we came on today. So I'm going to go drink all the water out of the tap after this.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's so scary. How do you guys like shower? Are you worried about like I don't know, that just sounds
Yeah.
scary to me.
Well, you can shower. Well, we shower, but just don't get it anywhere in the face. And then, so the testing had to go through two very rigorous things for the state. So it was a very serious matter. And so the fact that they've given it the blessing now means that it's passed more than one rotation of testing. And at the end of the day, it turns out it might have been just might have been a mistake. So we'll see.
A mistake? Oh my god, that sucks.
It does. That's probably why I'm smiling about it, because I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like everything's been so crazy at your place. Both of you sound extremely busy. So let's get forward. Let's get on with the interview. But first, I just want to remind people that they can still submit every month. Don't feel like if you missed the deadline you can't, because the next month is accepting projects. So about the time that this one is coming out, we will have just announced the August winners. Very cool stuff coming through. What else? Oh, also make sure if you're following us, make sure that you like and subscribe. That definitely helps the podcast out. Or share. Oh my gosh, share it with your friends. And whatever the potential modeling thing, that's down in the links. What else? Whatever. I always have links down below. I highly recommend checking them out if you're interested in anything to do with us at all. Various links to their podcast, their other podcasts, links to the actual festival, links to get tickets to the festival. So don't forget to get your tickets if you want to come. I'm getting anxious about announcing who our celebrity guests will be, but we will be having some celebrity guests. And right now, I think I have to keep it a secret until like mid-October. I can't remember when, but I'm very excited. So get your tickets, get your passes. I also will be announcing other events taking place at the festival soon. I guess that's it. Let's hop into this interview. There's two people from my film, and it was pretty awesome listening to them. So enjoy.
Is that really true what you were saying about not having any friends and basically living in a box?
Yes, my life is planned out a month in advance. I don't have time for any spontaneity.
Hey, you will now. Why don't you come hang out with me and my crew?
Your crew?
Well, I mean, me and my friend Peter. But hey, with you, we'll be a legit crew though.
I don't know. My dad let me hang out with boys.
Boy, do you tell your dad every time you're like popping pills or getting high?
I don't get high.
Oh. Guess what? Now you do. Don't tell Daddy.
Stephanie Cerves is an actress, writer, environmentalist, and self-described scream queen, starring in over 60 films, including the award-winning film Abduction Chronicles. Please welcome Stephanie Cerves. Hi, Stephanie.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. What does it feel like? I mean, you've been in over 60 films. Being in an award-winning one, which I'm sure this is probably not, after that many films, this cannot be the only one because you're such a great actress. But what does it feel like to be a part of stuff that's in the circuit and is winning awards?
Yeah, it's always exciting for me to see when I get tagged in a post that one of the films I did is in a festival up for awards. That's always great. I always share and post that kind of thing. Yeah, Abduction Chronicles was a really interesting film to do, and it had a really important message behind it. So I'm glad that it's finally picking up some awards.
Can you tell everybody about your character in the film?
So originally I auditioned for an adult victim, but then I went in the Zoom meeting and the director saw me and she's like, "You look like you're 12." I'm like, "Okay." So I got cast as a 14-year-old. So my character, basically, she runs away from home. She has family issues. She stays with these two men who give her food, shelter, everything she needs, drugs even, and it's better than her life at home. So she says, "Why not? I'm going to stay here. This is my house now." And for her, it's a step up, which is sad.
Yeah. It seems like a very grueling, emotional part to play. What was that like to kind of tap into that? I'm assuming, and maybe it's a wrong assumption, that you didn't grow up like that. So there was a very large acting skill to do. So what was that like to play that character?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think with my character in particular, we really wanted to explore Stockholm Syndrome because she's there. She's glad to be there. She awards her captors for hitting her rather than, crying, freaking out, telling them to stop. She says, "Please do it. Punish me. I'll never do this again. I love you." And it's sad in a way because they messed up her brain so much.
What is it as an actor, is it difficult to go in and out of characters like that are so intense?
It was for me at first. I've just done my craft for so long. I started doing theater when I was like 6 years old. So when I'm on set now, I snap in and out of it like that. Like I'll be joking, they'll say action, and then I'll start crying. They'll say cut, I'll be like, "Ha, that was fun, guys."
How do you get the acting bug at such a young age? Like, who did you look up to?
I always loved telling stories to my family, dressing up, making little costumes, acting things out, creating characters. So yeah, I was born an actor. I guess you could say I was born an artist. Like it's what I was meant to do. Like I couldn't really see myself doing anything else.
What was your first role?
I was in a community theater summer camp production called Sewer Rat Cats, and I was a cat.
Do you remember like what that was like being on stage for the first time?
It was exhilarating. It was my first time in the theater, and I fell in love with it, really. I didn't want to leave after the week of camp was up. And I ended up going back there for many years. And then when I became a teenager, I actually became a counselor at that same camp. So it was cool. I kind of grew up at that little local community theater.
Yeah, like what a great full circle moment, right? Then to be
Yeah,
able to
definitely.
interesting. No, you said before that it's always fun when you get tagged in something and you hear that it won an award. Is that really how you find out that films you're in are winning awards?
A lot of the time, yeah, like they mostly communicate through social media. I find like they tag everyone every time their new festival gets announced. Sometimes it's through email. I know Jacquelynn has been emailing us about this film, keeping us updated, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, yesterday, for example, I found out a cartoon I recorded voiceovers for 4 years ago is in a festival, a Jewish film festival. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Just out of the blue, it just happened.
Yeah. How long do you know, like how long that kind of circuit is? Like when films are going in and out
Yeah,
of.
usually like once a film screens at its first festival, it's in the circuit for about a year before the filmmaker will move on to their next one, I
Okay.
found.
Wow. You also did your own stunts in this film, in Abduction
Oh, I
Chronicles?
always do my own stunts. Yeah, I
Oh,
have some
yeah.
stunt training experience.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
What
I
that's
mean, I
like?
did stage combat when I was a theater actor. I got into that when I was in high school. And I used to do like Ren fairs kind of thing, like human chess combat. I did fencing, stuff like that. So I really enjoy it. One of my first films, I played a British secret agent and had a big fight scene with this other actor who's over 6 feet tall, ex-military. So it was fun. I got to like hold my own against him on screen.
Has there ever been something that you're like, I think I need a stunt double for that? Or have you
Not
done it
yet.
every time?
I've done one film I did Elmersville. I did all my own stunts. It was a lot of stunt choreography. Like I had to roll down a hill, hit my head, get knocked out. I had a huge fight scene with like the fairies. I'm trying to rescue my friends from this messed up magical world. So yeah, I haven't found a stunt yet that makes me scared.
Well, come back when you do, because I want to hear
Yeah,
about those.
I mean,
That's
I'd love to
that's
do like
great.
wire work and everything. I haven't been on a film with that big of a production, but I mean, I'd be down.
Yeah. I kind of want to run down your credentials kind of all the different things you do and have you talk about those. And I want to start with
Sure, sure.
acting in over 60 films. Do you have a favorite in all of those, or is each experience so different that
I mean,
it's
yeah,
special?
it really is. Each film set you're on, it becomes a little family for while you're on set. And even afterwards, like I find myself hanging out with people I meet on set a lot and then building like new little families. And I end up on set with people I worked with years ago, and it's always so nice to see them again, you know?
Have you been able to travel a lot with that? Where are you located?
I'm located in Orlando right now. Right now, I
Okay.
mostly just stay in Florida acting wise. I've been down to Miami a lot for films. I've been up to Atlanta a few times. I actually was up in New York City. I took a semester off of school and I was up there as a working actor for a few months doing a bunch of projects. So that was really exciting.
Are you still in school?
I graduated actually. Yeah, I know I have a baby
Congratulations.
face. I play teenagers. That's my little catch. 18 plus to play younger. But yeah, I have a degree in environmental studies, even though I'm an actor, writer primarily. So yeah, I have a lot of varied interests, I guess.
Okay, let's jump into that environmental studies. Where
Okay.
did that love come from? And how come you chose to major in that and not acting?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always loved animals and being outdoors when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, I had a pet tarantula. I had
Ugh.
guinea pigs. I had like geckos, cats. I caught frogs and kept them. I rescued this turtle, nursed it to health, released it. Like I've always been connected to the earth and to animals. And even now I still have a lot of exotic animals. I rescue sugar gliders. I work with an organization to foster them, and they took over my apartment. I have a bearded dragon. But yeah, I mean, I've always been big on environmentalism ever since my third grade teacher really got us into Earth Day and everything. She was really instrumental in sparking that in me, teaching us how to recycle, how important it is to like leave as small of a footprint as we can on the earth.
And what do you do with what's your plan with that degree?
It's a backup, to be honest. I
Okay.
got it when I went off to college. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Oh, I mean, I knew I wanted to do acting and writing, but my parents weren't totally on board with that yet. So, and I was good at
Mhm.
science, so I'm like, hey, I'll do this. I enjoy this as well. So I got it, but I mean, as I was in school, like I just found myself daydreaming in chemistry class, drawing storyboards, reading scripts, rather than engaging in my major. So it was kind of inevitable that that would kind of just be a backup option for me.
And are your parents on board with it yet, or are they still
I
with the
think they
acting
are
thing?
now. They're seeing like the impact I've had. Like last weekend, for example, I just wrote, directed, and starred in my own film. And it was the people on set said it was like one of the best experiences they've had. And they're like, when are you doing the feature? Like everyone keeps texting me. They're like, when are you doing
Wow.
the feature? Let me know. I want to be in it. And it's just amazing. It was my first time directing since like 2020 and the first time I directed out at Panic Attack. So it was a big jump for me to go back into that, but it felt so natural. I love directing and acting at the same time because my biggest quip with acting is you're sitting around 90% of the time. Like you do your
Mm,
scene and then you just sit and vegetate all day, you know?
yeah.
And as a director, I can be doing something at all moments. I felt important on set, you know?
Yeah. How did you get over that anxiety and that panic attack when you were directing?
Honestly, I had one of my crew members take over. Like my hands were shaking so bad
Mm,
I couldn't hold the camera. I was at the New York Film Academy at the time, and it took me like hours to calm down. It was such an intense panic. And I used to have panic attacks. I don't very rarely have them now. Through therapy and medication, it's gotten a lot
good.
better.
Good. What's it like to direct yourself?
It was interesting. I mean, I had my AD kind of take over when I was acting, but I didn't get any notes. All I heard was like, that was great.
It's not bad when that's the feedback, right?
I had a lot of emotional scenes, so yeah. I mean, I guess directing yourself is all about the preparation, the character work, just like you would do as an actor.
Mm,
So that was kind
okay.
of how I directed myself, made sure I did my homework.
Yeah.
But it was great directing other actors. I had a blast. I read this really good book by Judith Weston on directing actors, and that helped me exponentially. Like, I've gotten great feedback from them, and it was a great experience.
So you're gonna, I'm assuming, do it again, right?
Oh, yeah. For the feature, I don't know if I'm going to act or direct yet. I want to do both, but that seems like way too much work. We shall see.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of actors eventually go into just
Yeah,
directing,
and vice
right?
versa. Like when I was at the New York Film Academy, my acting teacher, he went there when he was a teenager, and all of his classmates, a lot of them went on to become famous actors, even though they're studying filmmaking. So everything kind of overlaps a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to be a jack of all trades in this industry for sure.
Yeah, because then you can also jump in if something's needed. It's such a
Exactly. Yeah.
collaboration when you're making films, right?
Even if you're just acting, it's good to know like what the framing looks like,
Mm,
how tight it is on you, how the lighting looks. Make sure you hit the light in the right way so you look the best you can on screen. Even if you
yeah.
don't want to do it, it's very good to know the basics.
Okay. That's a good note for people out there.
Definitely.
Yeah. What about your writing career? How long have you been writing?
Oh, I've been writing like my whole life. When I was a toddler, I'd write plays and be like, "Here, read this with me for Christmas." And they're like, "I can't read your writing." I'd get all mad. Be like, "It's so clear, it's obvious. This is your line." I was always a little director, I guess. I was the oldest, so I kind of directed my siblings so I was always a writer and an actor and a director. So yeah, it's always been there within me. Weird enough.
Has to be interesting, especially obviously coming from a not entertainment background family, right? When they're like, we need a backup plan.
Yeah, my mom's a nurse. My dad works for an electric company. So, no, not at all. My sister's in med school. My brother just got his CPA license. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm the
Yeah.
black sheep.
Did that discourage you at all, or was that also like kind of what set you apart?
It was really stressful. Like, I had a lot of tumultuous years with my family because of like what they wanted me to do versus what I knew in my heart I
Mhm.
wanted to do. So yeah, it was stressful at times, but I feel like we've all finally accepted me. I've accepted myself, they've accepted me and my path. So things are a
I
lot
love
better now.
that. Can we go back a little bit to your environmentalism? And I want to talk about that nonprofit, the rescue that you were working with the sugar gliders. Can you mention them so people, if they're interested, if you're still working with them?
Oh, absolutely. It's called Sugar Haven Rescue. They're based up in the Northeast, but they're expanding to a bunch of states right now. So I'm kind of like a representative for Florida. And I have a foster colony right now. Female's pregnant again, about to have another baby and find them homes eventually. But yeah, I help them get care, their vet bills and everything. I'll help mentor people once they get rehomed. It's just all about education because they're exotics. People don't know how to
Mhm.
take care of
And how
them.
can people support that?
Yeah, they have a Facebook page and Instagram. They're always accepting donations because all the donations are what they use to pay vet
Okay, good. And we'll
bills.
put those in the show notes as well so people can contact them.
Awesome.
What are you working on now? What's coming up?
This weekend, I have a short film shoot, another horror film. I'm working on 2 horror features right now. One is called Executioner. I got cast in that about 3 years ago. It's finally
Wow.
happening. That'll be in September. We're going to wrap that up. And I'm one of the leads in that. It's very exciting. I have to go get like a head cast done for the film because there's a lot of dream sequences where people get decapitated.
Oh my
So
gosh. Is that like, what's the usual kind of like if you're cast in something or you're starting something, how long does it take to finish a product? I suppose
usually, once you're cast, within a few months, they'll begin production. But this was a little different. They cast me for the proof of concept trailer for the
Mm.
film. And then they rewrote a bunch of stuff, and then they had to recast because they aged up the lead. So it's been a long process. Sometimes it does take that long. Other times it's pretty quick turnaround, like they leave casting to the last
Okay.
step.
And you're also a self-described scream queen, which I love. What's your
Yes.
where did your obsession with those types of films come from?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved horror. Like when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Goosebumps books, loved scary movies. So it was kind of inevitable I'd fall down this path, especially in Florida because we're huge for our B horror movies. Most indie movies produced down here are going to be in the horror genre. And yeah, luckily I'm very good at channeling those emotions, the fear, the panic, the sadness, the anger. Like I can dig down and really dig those out pretty easily. So I think that's what sets me apart, my emotional access,
I
if
love
you
that.
will.
I didn't realize that Florida was such a large film area. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like I had no,
It's not a huge film area, but what we do have is mostly indie
Okay.
horror films. We have a lot of student films. We have a lot of
Oh,
commercials.
interesting.
We don't have many big budget movies
Mhm.
down here, though, which the state is, we currently don't offer tax breaks to filmmakers. So that is definitely something we need to do. Be aware of that when you're voting, what your candidate supports, because we need all the funding we can get for the arts down here because we're drowning.
So important. So important.
Yeah.
What is your dream of the future for yourself and even for the film industry?
Yeah, for myself, I just love to be a working actor and director and writer. Write my own movies, direct them, act in them occasionally. Get my visions out into the world, create great art with great people, and make an impact. Like my current film, it's all about mental health. So that's my current message that I'm trying to achieve. Mental health matters. Therapy is a process. We can all heal from our traumas eventually.
Well, it sounds like you have 19 things happening at one time. So what can you talk about your current film?
Yes, my proof of concept I shot for my feature Parallel Lives. It's basically about these two characters. They meet in a mental hospital. They each think they're someone else from their past. So they have these doppelgangers who are in the background. So we have our male lead. He's a writer, but he's floundering. He just lost his family. He's not doing good. He gets Baker acted by his brother. Ends up where Sam is because she just escaped from an abusive relationship. Her abuser, who looks just like Alan, but it isn't Alan, kept her locked up in his apartment. So she's dealing with severe PTSD and trauma. And they meet. Obviously, she freaks out. He gets ecstatic because she looks like a woman he used to be in love with. So the meeting is very chaotic, and then the rest of the film kind of unravels who they are, who those other people are, and they kind of heal through group therapy and learn to face their inner demons.
And you said
It's a thriller too. There's a lot of twists and turns, plot twists going on, investigations. When you think you know something, there's another thing around the corner you're going to find out.
Can you talk about I think you call it like a proof of concept. Is that what you said? What does that mean? And then how, like, what are the kind of different levels? Like, is that almost like a pilot to see if it'll go to becoming a feature film, or what is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the proof of concept I shot, it's going to be about 10 minutes, so it's a short film. And it's also going to be part of an upcoming film festival, the Orlando Independent Filmmakers. So it'll first screen there, but then after that, when it goes the festival route, I'm going to be using this short film to secure financing for the feature.
Wow.
So it's basically setting up my feature film, showing people what it's going to be about, gathering buzz, interest in the story.
I think that's so interesting that like there's that business side of filmmaking, right? Like it's not a bunch of
it's not all creative. You have to be left and right brained.
How does that work for you, and do you like that part of it?
I do like that part of it. That kind of like engages like that side of me who is into science and everything. Like I'm very organized. I like keeping people on track. I like making sure things are going on track. So that really helps me as a director, as an editor, as a producer, trying to get everything together. Like I have folders full of documents on my computer, full of auditions and everything. Like I've heard from many people my production was extremely organized, so I think that helped me out a lot. So yeah, that's the left brain there. The right brain, I'm also a creative. I like to live in the moment, go off emotional impulses in the scene as an actor, encourage my actors to do that as well as a director. So yeah, it's a two-pronged beast. And you have to master both to be able to make it in the industry.
Are sets, because I feel like a couple people have now said, or you've brought it up a couple times, of how organized you were. Is that uncommon in the industry?
It is. It's very, very hit or miss down here. Like some sets I'm on are incredible, others very disorganized. I sit for hours, 8 hours sometimes, and then I do like a 10-minute scene, you know? It's all about scheduling, making sure you stagger when your actor and your crew arrives. You don't want everyone there at once, just sitting there.
Yeah. Can you talk about film crew sizes and the width, the like ranges that you've worked with and kind of where?
I was on an HBO set when I was up in New York. That was the biggest set I've been on. It was insane. They had a crafty tent just for the extras, and they had a chef making omelets. They had like a juicing machine, like a huge buffet. It was insane, and that was just for the extras. And then you have like 10 assistant directors running around, placing all the extras, telling them when to move to bring the scene to life. Then I've been on films where there's a one-man crew or two-man crew. The director is running the camera and doing sound. I've been on one set, the director even runs the camera and acts in the film.
I was gonna say, does that make it more difficult or?
Usually, like my film, I had about 20, 30 crew members. That's
Okay.
pretty standard for an indie film.
And where do you find your crew or crews?
Yeah, I found my crew for this one on Facebook. I
Wow.
posted in filmmaking groups and on my page, so people I've worked with in the past reached out to me. So I kind of got to like build a team out of all my past teams. So it was really exciting getting like people I've worked with on sets and loved working with each other and forging new connections there.
What is your advice for people looking to get into the industry, whether it's acting, writing, all of the parts of making film?
Yeah, my advice is just do it. You're never going to feel ready. Like I shot my film, I still feel like I could have done better. You always are going to feel like you can do better, but you just got to like jump in and do it, or you're never going to do it. You're just going to keep putting it off until you feel ready, and that's never going to happen. Especially with acting, get into classes, train, hone your craft so you're ready when the perfect audition comes.
Yeah, I think some people, and myself included, I was a theater major, but when you start getting into like the independent film, especially like the college stuff, you feel like you're like nervous, or you don't want to do something that isn't going to be, you know, like a big feature film. Can you talk about kind of getting over that hump of like, you're not going to be famous overnight, or don't even get into it thinking you're going to get famous?
You're not. Yeah, exactly. Don't get into it if you're going to be famous, because it's a hard industry and you have to have a lot of drive to make it. But yeah, definitely start out doing student films, unpaid projects. Like I worked on unpaid sets for 2 years before I started getting paid. It's part of the grind when you're starting out as an actor, as a filmmaker. A lot of people don't want to do it because they have day jobs, but you just got to set aside like your weekends, for example, and get on set as much as possible, because that's how you learn. You learn better, I think, hands-on set than you would in film school.
Yeah, you would have to, right? Like you get to watch it, all the
Even if
moving
you go to film
parts.
school, you still need to be on set learning. It's not all the hypothetical stuff. It's not theory. It's making art with people in person. You have to be there physically to get the experience and learn and grow.
I was just thinking too, while you were talking about being in all of these films, over 60 films, what role does social media these days? Now I'm sounding like I'm 85 years old. But what role does all of that play in promoting yourself? Because a lot of films and people coming up are in independent films, and it's so hard to promote them, which is one of the reasons why we started this podcast. Like, how do you navigate promotion of your films?
Yeah, social media is a huge, huge tool in the industry. Like as a teenager, I never liked social media. I was never really into it, but once I got down this path, I realized I had to do it to get my name, get my work out there. So it's huge who you brand yourself as. You want to make yourself look like you're working as an actor or filmmaker. You want to make yourself look, you don't want to post a lot of political things or things that can be controversial, because you want people to work with you. It's kind of like your calling card, your Instagram handle, you know? People go on there and be like, oh, okay, she's done a lot of work. She looks like a pleasant person. Or they're like, oh God, she's drunk at a party. Oh God, it's a political post. Oh, I don't think that would fit well with our vibes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. What has been your favorite part over all these years making films? What's been your favorite part of the entire thing?
Yeah, that's a crazy question. So open-ended. I guess
But you can have multiple answers.
Yeah, I guess my first one would be connecting with people, meeting like-minded souls, making art together, just creating with others, getting out of my own head, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you literally just get to be so many different people and to stretch yourself like that artistically as
Yes, exactly. As an actor, you kind of get to like delve into all of the little crannies and nooks in your brain that you don't
Mhm.
normally get to express in society.
Yeah. What's the best way that people can follow you and connect with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm mostly on Instagram. It's at Stephanie_Cerves, my name. Yeah, right there.
Oh,
Follow
right
me on
there. Look at
Instagram.
that.
I post my acting stuff. I also post cute animals, so 2 reasons to follow me.
Yes.
And you can also keep up with parallel lives on my page. We're in post-production now for the proof of concept that'll be coming out soon, and eventually we're going to make a feature. So we're always looking for local cast and crew members. So if you're in Florida and you want to be part of a cool new project highlighting mental health with some cool, edgy visuals, hit me up.
I love that.
I'm always looking to connect with more artists.
Oh my gosh, have you ever been in a film co-starring with an animal? Have you ever like been able to do that?
I was recently. I shot this film called Sister Psycho. It was a remake of Psycho. It was all gender bent, so I was the female Norman Bates. That was one of my favorite roles, to be honest. It was fascinating to explore her psyche. But anyway, in the script, she had a pet dog, so I got to act with a dog, and he was this cute little terrier. He was like an elderly terrier. He was real sweet.
Oh.
It's tough to get them to do what you want, though. So you're gonna do a lot more takes if you're acting with an animal.
Do you
But
work with
it's
trained actor dogs? Or are they
usually,
yeah,
yes, you're gonna want to have a trained dog.
but they're
But
still
this
unpredictable?
one, it was trained, but it wasn't an actor dog. Yeah, I want to get my sugar gliders in films eventually, but no one ever casts exotics. It's always dogs and cats.
That's why you have to write it.
Exactly. I'm gonna make a new Gremlins movie with sugar gliders.
That's hilarious. Stephanie Cerves, thank you so much for jumping on and chatting with us. Well, with
Oh
me.
yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Make sure you follow her Instagram and keep up with all of the millions of things that Stephanie's doing.
Always something going on in my life.
I love it. You got to keep busy.
Definitely.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's the best thing you can get if you're a student. I think Prime Student is a way to really simplify the lives of college students. You get the first 6 months for free, and then you get 50% off after that.
If you go far away to school, you might not know your area, you know Amazon.com.
A lot of the dorm food is absolutely not good. Hey, I can get groceries delivered to my dorm.
The shipping, that's like super convenient.
That's my main streaming service.
There's lots of cool different unique shows on there that you can't find anywhere else.
Prime Textbook would be my go-to.
You can rent them from a semester to 2 semesters. You can buy them used or brand new.
I've saved so much money doing that.
You think it, you order it, and it's there. Everything you need.
Check the links below to see how you can get Amazon Prime free for the first 6 months.
Jalixa Morales is an extremely talented actress who can be seen in the award-winning film Abduction Chronicles. When she's not acting, she's highly involved in her Brevard County community, or you can find her making fun videos on her TikTok. So please welcome Jalixa Morales. Hi, Jalixa.
Hi, Richard.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we begin, I want to talk, well, we should begin. This is beginning. Abduction Chronicles. Can you talk about that film and the character you played in the film?
Sure thing. So I played, I was a passenger and for a driver, and in my scene, I'm nervous because I have a job interview coming up. So I'm a little like frazzled, second guessing myself, and the driver's doing a great job and just reassuring me that everything's going to go great and smooth. Yeah.
How did you get the part?
Got reached out by Jacquelynn and through Backstage, and I just went for it. I just, whatchamacallit, I'm at a loss of words.
Audition.
Audition, thank you.
Yeah.
I auditioned. That's just me being me. And yeah, then I heard back from Jacquelynn and said she was interested, and we just moved forward and took it from there.
I know Backstage is a huge website and casting directory kind of in the entertainment community. Can you talk about that and how important that is for maybe, or not important for upcoming actors to be a part of?
Yeah, I think it's such a great place to start, especially if you don't even have a background. Like if you didn't go to college for acting or any of that, like it doesn't matter. You can just go put what you have done. And the great thing is that, you know, you can apply for things, but people can also reach out to you based on what you have on your profile. And that actually helped me just broader my social media as well from those gigs that I've had.
You've been acting for a few years now, correct?
Yes.
And what types of other films have you been in? What types of acting have you done?
I've done just little things here and there. I was in a like antique TV show as well for like an episode, and I've done like series, doing audio podcast dramas and things like that.
How did you get into acting?
You know what? It's been a thing that since I was a little girl, and I'm talking about having just the old like camcorder with the little cassette, and me and my brother, we would just try to reenact the silliest things. Like we even try to reenact The Lion King.
Oh.
Yeah. Embarrassing. And I have those like films, like I have them all in cassette from when we were kids, reenacting like things like that and things that we saw on TV. And it's just always been a thing that I have fun doing, especially comedy. And I guess I just grew up wanting to just be someone else for a moment.
I wish I could say right now we have a clip of you pretending to do The Lion King. Let's roll it, but I don't have that. I'm so sorry.
It's embarrassing. It's better that you don't.
Who can we contact to get that film for when this actually gets released?
Nope.
We need that after this. Did you go to school for acting?
No, not at all, actually.
You just jumped into it.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm sure a lot of people can relate. You go to school, you get a degree, and then you end up working for something that has nothing to do with your degree. Like I have a bachelor's in science and I hate science. I'm no scientist. So yeah, it's just always been my side thing that's become more of my passion and what I really want to do.
I love that. Well, then why science? Can we go down the college route and how you...
Yeah, it's just everyone, like, you try to find what can make you money. I wanted to be a hygienist, and because I suck at science, I failed. Didn't make it. I got my degree, but and then I got into the field and I was working for probably a year and I was miserable and it wasn't making me happy. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. And I left it and started kind of just doing my own little gigs here and there on the side. And that's what makes me happy.
I love that. That's a good message out there because it's so hard when you have that talent and you have that drive, but you're not Tom Cruise. And so you can't just make money. But you have that passion and it's there. And as sometimes I think it's fun when you're a kid, right? Mm-hmm. To pretend you're in The Lion King, but it's sometimes embarrassing to be a 40-year-old pretending that you're in The Lion King. Can you talk about that a little bit, about getting over kind of your nerves of being like, this is what I need to be doing?
That's a good one. It because of the pressure of like society of like, you got to make money, you got to do this and that. And like you said, it's almost like the people that do know me, it's like, come on, Jalixa, like you've been doing this for how long already? I could say I think I've had my YouTube channel for like 17 years already. Like right when it came out, I was already on it. And yeah, some people are just like, you got to let it go. But it's, when you have a passion, it doesn't matter what everybody says. It's just that drive of you just want to be happy. You just want to do the things you love. So why not?
Yeah.
One day I will blow up.
One day. Yeah. And it starts right here on this podcast or maybe this film. Yeah. How do you go about preparing for a role?
I definitely try to know as much as the character as I can so I can kind of put myself in their shoes. And I mean, even around the house, I have a husband and kids. And sometimes like I'm so in the role that I'm like, okay, for today, I'm going to just be talking with a British accent all day. This is what we're going to do.
And your kids are like, Mom, what is happening?
Yes. And I'm watching Bridgerton. I'm like trying to just get into character. They already know.
Do you have creative people in your family, like any of your family or your kids? Are you seeing any of that in them?
Definitely not. They hate the camera. All of everyone's
Wow.
so camera shy. If anything, like I prank my husband a lot because he hates being on camera. So a lot of the times I
Mhm.
just gotta get him off, catch him off guard, and have him film, and he hates it, but I love it.
How did you find out about YouTube? You said you've been on it forever.
Yeah.
What do you get out of that type of format?
Just reaching out and like finding people that share the same likes as I do, just because it is rare. Like I said, in my family, it's like nobody else is into film and things like that except my brother, but he's not doing anything. He was in the military, so but it's just a way to just reach out, and I love it when people comment or they like myself, because I'm like, okay, I'm doing something, like even if it's just a little bit of followers, but it's just having someone to connect with and know people are watching.
Have you, since you were like an OG YouTuber, what are your thoughts on TikTok? And I feel like TikTok has blown up, but it's changed so much. Like it went from crazy dancing to now really like community building and like actually getting to know people in a weird,
Yeah.
like kind of like Facebook was at the beginning.
I know, even like small businesses now through TikTok.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, there's so much creativity on TikTok.
Yeah, now is when I'm recently like trying to get more into TikTok, because you got to kind of catch the wave and go with it. But definitely everyone's just like, you got to do TikTok. You got to do. So I'm doing it now, and let's see where that takes me.
What's your favorite type of content to make on your own, and your favorite type of content to make when you're being hired as an actress?
So on my own, I would say I am all for just anything comedic, because I could just be natural. Like I think I'm hilarious. Well, no, that sounds so bad.
You could be confident that you're funny. That's a thing. You can be confident. You take that.
But I just like being myself. I love challenges. So a lot of the things I do are based on like trying to do challenges and pranking my husband as well. I do love singing. That's another passion of mine. And then as far as acting, I honestly I'm very open to any type of role, because I just like to, it's exciting to play a different role than who I really am.
You're a singer. So, I mean, we're here on a platform that you could, throw that out there for people in the musical theater world, can you sing a little something for us?
Oh man, you put me on the spot.
Listen, this is hard-hitting journalism here.
Oh, I don't even know what to sing. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you think about it the rest of the interview, and then at the end, I'm not pressing end recording until you sing something for us here today.
Okay.
I think that'd be amazing.
Deal. I can do that.
Do you feel, speaking of pressure like that, do you feel pressure when you're on set, so I was a theater major, but I quit that as soon as possible, because the pressure for me to like not screw it up for everybody else around me was too much. And so do you ever feel that when you're on set, or is it so natural?
You know what? Funny enough, I think it is natural, even though it's not something that I've done all my life. I think also the church has helped me. I've born and raised in the church, and I always did so many like plays. Every year we did a Christmas play. We would do like an Easter play and things like that. So it was just something I always grew up doing, and with loads of people watching, and it never like I'm so comfortable.
Who did you look up to and admire, especially in the comedy world? Because it feels like that's where your like love is, and you're hilarious to me. So who did you look up to growing up?
Man, that's a good question. Classic, like Jim Carrey. Definitely is someone who, like the Ace Ventura movies that nobody talks about anymore. Like that was something I like binge watched.
I was just talking about that with someone, that it feels like there isn't that Jim Carrey really even, I mean, like there isn't that movie star right now that everybody is like flocking to go see.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel that how like films and movies have changed with the advances of like, you know, everybody can put movie, like you can make a film on your phone now and then it looks really good, it sounds really good. Can you talk about kind of the process of making a film and what goes into that? Because I think it's so interesting that like we are making great products now and we don't need, like I said, like Tom Cruise budgets anymore.
That is very true. Yeah, everything I do like right now is just off of my phone. And I can even edit off of my phone. And, you know, I don't need to have all the gadgets and stuff. And it's just so great how we have so many platforms that we could just stream it and just share it with the world.
Yeah. What do you say to people who are coming up in the film industry or they love film acting, but they're kind of in that spot where they don't know what to do or where to go to explore that?
I say just gotta start somewhere, get your feet wet, even if it's, you know, an unsure thing of like, oh, I don't know where this is gonna take me or whatnot. Like, try put something on TikTok, you know, just upload it, see if anybody else can relate to you. And just knowing again that people are watching, it's just almost like a boost of confidence that it's like, okay, I'm not boring. I got this, you know?
Yeah. Even if it's 20 people, like, okay, 20 people, like I always feel like you put it out there and the people who need to see it will find it. And if that's 2 million people or 20 people, you changed someone's life and you made it better. So why not?
Exactly.
What are you working on now? What's next for you?
Right now, I'm just kind of focusing on my YouTube, my TikToks, and just seeing if, you know, whatever I throw sticks somewhere and, you know, taking it from there.
Where can people find your TikTok and your YouTube? What are those?
So my TikTok as well as my Instagram is Jelly1505. And then YouTube is just my name, Jalixa, just how you see it spelled out. Simple as that.
What are you hoping for yourself in the future in film?
I would love to see myself one day in the screens. Just really out there where it's like, oh, you got to see this. Tune into this channel or let's go to the movie theater. Like one day.
Well, I hope I'm interviewing you on the red carpet one day going into your big screen movie premiere. I would love that.
Yes.
Jalixa, thank you so much for stopping by. However, it's now time for you to pick a song to sing.
Okay. You know what? I think I'll do a classic.
Okay.
Let me see. Do I have a cup somewhere? You remember the cup song?
No.
What?
What's the cup song?
Goodness, the cup song. I need a cup.
Oh, like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
How could you not? I mean, I don't know if you can see me with a cup, though. Man.
Is it like when you had the plastic cups and people were like, that thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
talking about? You sing at the same time.
Yeah. I thought it was a song about cups. And I was like, I don't remember this.
Well, yeah. You can't see me, though, but it's okay. I'll do it on the table. I got a bottle here. I got 2 tickets for the long way round, 2 bottle whiskey for the way, and I'll show you like some sweet company, and I'm leaving tomorrow. What do you say? When I'm gone, you're gonna wish me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair. You're gonna miss me everywhere. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
If we had a laugh track, if we had clapping, I would put it in there.
Thank
and I hope you come back. I hope you come back when your album comes out. I'll come to that premiere. I love it. Jalixa, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Richard, thank you so much. I love your interview style. I loved listening to you talk to Jalixa and Stephanie, and I'm just curious, tell me, like, what were your favorite things about interviewing them? How was that for you?
I think they were so fun to talk to. And they were both so different.
I
And
know, right?
it was fun just to see their Stephanie has done a ton of movies. She's done like 60 some movies. And so to hear her kind of tell that story and all the like behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
and what she's learned is so fun. And Jalixa is fairly new to it, but has so much talent. And you see, I love when you talk to someone and their face lights up when they're talking about what they did or what they're currently doing, and you know that it just sparks so much energy. So both of them were so fun to talk to.
Oh, that's so great. You said Jalixa, and I lit up because I saw her TikTok where she's singing the national anthem.
Mm.
Have you seen that? It's amazing.
Yeah.
She's incredible. And such a
Yeah,
light.
she
Such a light. Yeah.
I've seen her do it a couple times, but I'm actually going to link one in when I edit this. I'll link one in. So even before people hear you guys discuss, they'll get to see a little clip of her singing the national anthem at, I'll have to pick which one, but at one of the events she sung at.
She loves herself some social media.
That's good.
Yeah, it was with Stephanie. When she was talking about snapping in and out of character, I was able to say firsthand that I witnessed that. Like, it was some intense scenes. It was some, my film is dark. It's not good. But then as soon as it's like cut, she's giggling, telling stories, making friends with everybody. But yeah, she was definitely
That's amazing.
really like that, snapping in and out of character. I mean, at one point she gets drowned. She literally has to have her head dunked and drowned in the water, and then she just gets up and she's like cheerful and like, hey, where's the snacks at, kind of thing. But I just, if you guys don't mind, can I take this moment to clarify a couple things that she said? I actually took some notes during the interview to try to write down because she had so much great advice, and but also talked about a lot of things that people might not know. So you might have heard the term Baker Act. So in Florida, sorry, I'm just gonna relax and get in my talk radio pose. In Florida, Baker Act is a term when I don't want to say anything offensive and or misleading. It's like when somebody else, a friend, a family member, a concerned somebody else besides yourself, has you placed in a mental health facility for your own safety and well-being. It's usually because you might be at risk of harming yourself, harming somebody else. It's just a way to help to make sure that people get the help that they're needing. Other states have similar things. It's just not called Baker Act. It's not a bad thing if you have to Baker Act somebody or yourself is Baker acted. It's all out of love, concern, making sure you get the best help you need. What else? She mentioned that Florida doesn't currently have any tax breaks. And that's partially true. There's actually a couple counties that do have some tax breaks. So if you're working in the film industry, you already know this stuff, or you're even like thinking about making a film, this is a good stuff to know. But different states have different laws on filmmaking, and not just laws on filmmaking, but how you finance, how you bill, all those kind of things. And there's states you can get grants for it, like ahead of time. You can get tax breaks afterwards. You can get, I can't even think of all the terms right now. It's like a credit. I can't remember. There's other terms. I can't think of them right now. But in Florida, there's a couple that you can get the tax breaks for. They're very low compared to other states. That's like Georgia is where a lot of films are currently being made, or in the last, I don't know, decade and a half. where a lot of films were being made because they have really good incentives to film there. I would say New Mexico's is the up and comer. That is where my TV show is being filmed, the TV show I wrote, and that is possibly where we will be doing the festival next year because so many films are being made over there. We're trying to make it easier for filmmakers to come places, or come to our easier for filmmakers to come to our event. So we're trying to go where a lot are being made.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. And there will be more films coming out of New Mexico because the place is blowing up here. There's huge. There's like a $94 million film studio that's being built over the next few years. So it's going to be a lot more here, which is great. It's exciting.
In Florida, if you are a Florida filmmaker, Broward County, which is like Fort Lauderdale, is part of that county. I think they have a rebate, like it's 15%, but there's a cap. It's like 15% up to your film making a certain amount. Like if you made a film that was $100,000, you qualify for the 15%. But if you made a film that was $4 million, only the first 200,000 counts for that 15%. I'm not, don't directly quote me, but it is it's a capped rebate of 15% in Broward County. Duval County, which is like up by Jacksonville, they also have a 15% rebate. I think they also have a capped rebate, but it's a little bit higher. And sometimes you can get I know I'm just rambling. Sorry, this is just like a lot of good information for anybody interested. You can, if you're going to do multi-film projects, you can actually get a higher rebate. I think that's the same for Broward County. That if you're locked in that you will be filming multiple, then you can actually get a higher rebate. But I think the cap is the same. Like the max cap amount doesn't change, but your rebate percentage could change. And then there's Tampa. I'm sorry, I can't think of what Tampa's county is called right now. It's like Hillsborough. I can't remember what it's called. They do an even smaller percentage. I think they are 10% rebate. So Florida just has those 3 counties that offer rebates. But highly recommend if you're even trying to do like a small project film, $10,000, $5,000. Look into what rebates that you can qualify for because it might help your project go longer. The reason you get rebates is, or a lot of them when you're getting rebates or grants or the credits or there's like 5 different things you can get. But a lot of those is because it's helping the economy there. So you're hiring locally. And that's in New Mexico. That's one of their things is you get I can't remember if it's a grant or a credit, rebate, whatever you get is because you're hired locally. Like if you hire out of state actors, which you still might have to do, the actor you're picked for one role might need to come from somewhere else. They don't particularly qualify, but some of the other things, your other actors, your staff, your crew, all those people might be hired locally. So since you're helping the economy there, then they will get the rebate for that, which means it's more money you can put into paying your employees better, more money you can pay into making your project better, more money you can put into making your company better. I'm all for making your crew, your staff and crew, cast and crew. I don't know why I keep saying staff. Your cast and crew life better, easier. I'm all for that. So
same. Thank you.
Okay, I'm done. I think that's all. I probably have a million more things. She probably had other things that I could clarify, but we will call it done for the day. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Make sure you subscribe, watch, whatever you do.
Thanks, guys. Rate, review, subscribe. Mwah.
Share with a friend.
Yes, exactly. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye. Wolf Media Festival Podcast with Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Produced and edited by me. I'm Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to find ways you can connect with our guests. Thanks for checking us out today and tuning in every week wherever you get your podcasts.